Welcome to Entrepreneurs Ideas, and today we have the Director of Growth of Popping Agency, Liam Cole. So, Liam, tell us what are the 5 steps to build a concierge company?
Welcome to Entrepreneurs Are Leaders podcast with Harry Sardinas. Interviews with world's most influential entrepreneurs that share tips about how to grow your business exponentially. Charismatic speaking, leadership, branding, marketing strategies designed to help you monetize your knowledge, find true happiness, and manifest your goals and dreams.
Great opening question. Thanks very much for having me, Harry, and really good to be on. The 5 steps of starting a concierge company, really it begins with a network. Any good concierge company needs to have connections. The whole premise and point of a concierge company is a business or a group of individuals that can facilitate things that other people either can't do or don't have the time to do. So without a network, connections, contacts, access, you're really off to a very difficult start. Unless you have that as a foundation, it's very hard to build a business. So you really want to work on defining a network that could be quite specific. For example, you could say, right, we just want to be the business to help people get into restaurants. Okay, great. Then how do you build that network around restaurants? How do you get to know restaurant managers, maitre d's, owners, to build a contact book where you can say, look, I've got a wealthy client or a successful client or an interesting client that I think would be great to bring into your restaurant. So that would be number one for me, and happy to unpick that in more detail in a second. The next, kind of in line with the restaurant piece, would be understand your target market. If you are going to deliver a concierge company, is it to high net worth individuals? Is it a corporate service? Is it more, I say general public, but maybe busy entrepreneurs? You know, who are you targeting? What price point are you setting your service out at? Because that will define the individuals that you should approach and you should reach, and ultimately your go-to-market strategy. In line with that, what service offering? And I touched on this a little bit before, but to dive into it in more detail, once you've built out a network, you likely want to focus. Most concierge companies make the mistake of trying to do too much, and they overstretch themselves like many businesses do. You're much better focusing and saying, you know what, we're going to be experts in events. We're going to be experts in children's birthdays, in restaurants, whatever it might be, and then you can slowly add other services to that. The difficulty is if you go in straight off the bat and say that we can sort anything out, the likelihood is you're going to get found out, or you're going to have to lean very heavily on other people, and there's always risks to that. You're better off being very focused on 1, 2, maybe 3 pieces, and then bringing in other support when you need them, but become known for something and then scale from there. The next would be once you've defined those pieces, like any good business, a go-to-market proposition. You know your audience base, you know what you're focusing on, you've understood and built your network. How are you taking that to market? Where are your customers? Like any good business, right? An understanding of where your audience base spends time. Can you put partnerships in place that will unlock opportunities to people that are moving into luxury apartments, for example? Can you build relationships with the concierge companies there or the developers? Understanding how you reach your audience base would be the most important part. And then the final part, but by no means the final piece, would be a reiteration of staying focused. Again, I think it's one of the biggest mistakes that people make in business, full stop, but certainly in the concierge game. The more focused you are, the more specialist you are at a certain thing, the more like you are to succeed at that and grow. Because there are many great businesses out there in the concierge space and in all sectors, but the ones that really carve a path and eat other businesses lunches is the ones that focus and the ones that stay focused until they're in a position where they can scale.
So, how big the relationship and growing relationship have an impact in the success of these companies?
Well, relationships are key, because really it's all about favors to begin with. You know, if you said to me, Liam, I want to pay you some money and you're going to be my concierge guy, I'm going to leverage my contact book, my relationships to unlock doors for you. You're going to call me and say, Liam, I want to go out for dinner with my partner on Friday. You know that we love Italian food, and you know that we like to eat in North London. So I'm going to leverage my contacts to go, if I don't know a restaurant, to speak to people that do or might give me good recommendations to do my research. But really to kind of build that network and to start, you need to meet people. You need to engage, build relationships. I use restaurants so much because restaurants were the number one request when I was at Quintessentially. They were the thing that people wanted most. There was an incredibly funny
Wow.
meme. Yeah, always restaurants by a long way. If you get people into restaurants, you're the king or the queen. You know, people, everyone wants to go to the newest restaurant, the coolest restaurant. Everyone wants that table that no one else can get. It's the most sought after thing when it comes to lifestyle services, generally speaking, right? Like, of course, going in and meeting Leonardo DiCaprio is very cool and very hard to do, but like day to day, people care about restaurants.
Yeah, about this experience. But then you, Liam, have to build and nurture relationship with those restaurant managers, because at the end of the day, they always full. This
Yeah.
is exactly like you described. Everybody wants to go in. It's the hottest ticket in town. So how you develop and build the relationship with these restaurant managers that can facilitate this
Yeah.
access for your clients, and you said it's all about doing favors. So what favor can you do for these restaurant managers to facilitate that your clients go there and they have that
Yeah, sure.
priority, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I was, when I joined Quintessentially, I was fortunate in that they had a great network and I could use that. However, I still built a huge amount of contacts myself, because one of the things that I would do as a sales technique would be to, when I'm speaking to members, is to say that I could sort stuff out for them before they came a member. You know, let me give you a trial of the service. I didn't have to ask the team to do anything. I could do it myself because I had the contacts. And the way that I did that, twofold. One, I asked for introductions from people I already knew, right? If I knew anyone that knew someone in the hospitality space, that's rule number one, because warm introductions, like in any business, are going to be the most successful. And the second of that is I went out and ate at restaurants, and those meals didn't have to be expensive. I didn't spend lots of money. I would go out and maybe have a couple of dishes, and I would always ask to speak to the manager and just say I had a fantastic meal, I really enjoyed it, ask them about the restaurant, what they're up to, where they've been. Every single GM or maitre d' in a restaurant, if you ask for them, unless they're incredibly busy, will come, because they are a service industry. They want to come and take care of you. They want to support you. And then you get into a conversation with them. Then you slip in the fact that, look, you know, I have a good contact book of clients, and they ask me for restaurant recommendations. Could we keep in touch? Maybe I could introduce you to one or two of them. Maybe I can send some really good bookings your way. You know, would that be something that would be valuable to you? All of them say yes. They all give you their WhatsApp number instantly, because that's just the way the hospitality world does business. So it's actually not that hard to do. And if you're very smart with it, you can look on multitude of different platforms that have dining packages. And I'm not talking about platforms like Groupon. I'm on about slightly more prestigious, like hot dinners and places like that, and they do discounts, 50% off a new restaurant opening or something like that. Go to these restaurants when they're newly opened, experience it. You eat for for a lot less, and again, you can do the same thing. You build relationships. Go to hospitality events. I would always go to numerous hospitality events, see about new products or new things coming into the market, meet people, again, tell them the contact book or the network that I had, and work it that way. So it's actually surprisingly easy when you start to dig into it.
I mean, in London, we're talking about hundreds of restaurants that they are amazing, that you can have an amazing experience. However, try to get inside there Friday or Saturday or
It's
even
hard.
Thursday. Oh,
Yeah.
it's a challenge. Yes. So,
There was
uh,
sorry to interject, Harry, but there was
yeah.
I was going to talk about it earlier. There was a meme that came out a long time ago when I was at Quintessentially, and it kind of talked about not prestige. It's not quite the right word, but it talked about like a tiering system of you know, if you do these things, like people love you basically. And the first one was, you know, people are interested in people that are successful. People are interested in people that are wealthy or that can do this or can do that. But the one that the kind of meme basically said the thing that trumped them all was being able to get people into restaurants. And it is true. If you get people into restaurants, it's incredible what power you have, because people love you. If you can get someone a table at a restaurant they can't get into, they're blown away.
That your friends forever. Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to
Yeah.
own a restaurant in Brooklyn, and I remember that the restaurant was not even that profitable. I actually lost over 200,000 pounds in that
Wow.
that venture. However, it was amazing the amount of friends that I made because of this restaurant, and the relationship that you build is amazing. I was not counting on that, and it's basically everybody wants to be your friend
Yeah.
when you own a restaurant. Yeah.
It's so interesting, and it's also one removed, right? Because if people befriend you as the restaurant owner, then they can go to their friends and be like, I know the owner.
Exactly.
I can get us in. He'll look after
That-
us. He'll give us a few dishes. It's incredible the power of.
Everybody was saying Harry's my friend. Come on,
Yeah.
let's take you to Harry restaurant. He's my friend, and yes, it worked out really. Giving a certain amount of status to the people that they were coming to a restaurant to enjoy that they will feel part of it. That's very impressive. So the other thing, Liam, that we want to talk about is how you deal with this type of people in London. We have lots of them, which they are what we call it cash rich and time poor. So they have very very little time. They usually are working in corporate or CEO of large organizations, and the time is so short that they want to have the best experience ever, and money is not a problem because these people they work so many hours for the money that for the tiny time that they have to spare, they want the best experience ever, regardless how much is so price is not the main objection when those individuals want to have dinner or want to buy or want to have a holiday or want they all want to have a great experience here at the moment in US. Yes, I'm on holiday at the moment in US, and the here they give usually a month holiday, right? So or 2 weeks or maximum 3 weeks, and could be even if you have a lot of years that work a month. Yeah. So of course, when people goes to the 2 week holiday they have per year, of course they don't care how much it costs the hotel. They will pick the highest. I'm telling you about middle class people. We're not telling you about the wealthy. They just want these 2 weeks to have the best experience, and money is no an issue when it comes to that. So, what are the secrets, or what are the, in your experience, how to deal with these type of individuals that, hey, well, it can be, if something goes wrong, it could backfire really, really bad because, again, time is very important. They have very little. They spend the whole time working, and you have to make sure 100% that they have the most amazing experience. So, how you navigate this, and if you ever have a challenge, how you overcome that challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. Great questions. I'll give you a few answers because I think there's not one.
You have a lot of
thing.
experience on the field, so you can give me more than one answer. That's amazing.
Okay, I'll hit you with a few. First thing for me is knowledge. You're speaking to successful individuals who have built businesses, who have maybe run governments, who have done very notable things that require great skill or hard work and knowledge, experience, all of the above. So providing yourself with knowledge so that you can hold a conversation with those individuals is important.
You need to have emotional intelligence, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, those things, those things are paramount, right? Like emotional intelligence, being able to know when to speak and not speak. Like, I'm kind of taking it that people have some of those understandings and skills already, but we can certainly dig into that. I think from a knowledge perspective, you want to add value to the conversation you're having with that individual. You know, these are people that, as I said, are very knowledgeable, very successful, and being able to meet them on a level where you can talk effectively about a passion point of theirs, and it might be horse racing, very random thing, right? Or it might be technology, it might be AI, it might be global travel, it might be politics, it might be all number of things. I think reading
global warming, you name it. It depends on the person.
Exactly. And
So
that
you
doesn't
have to
mean,
know about all these topics, Liam.
well, that's a hard thing, right? Being knowledgeable in all those subjects is very difficult, but
But at
being,
least to have an opinion,
yeah,
right?
having a snippet, having opinions matter. I was actually writing a LinkedIn post the other day, which was opinions equal progress. Because if you don't have an opinion, this is going slightly off topic. If you don't have an opinion in a company, you never really say much, or you never really go anywhere, and you never really get promoted. Opinions move you forward. So is the same for conversation, even to the point where you can make a statement. So you don't even need to ask someone a question. For example, I might be in a meeting with someone and I can make a statement saying something like, Donald Trump is going to transform the world, right? That's just a statement. I haven't asked a question, but that's such a strong and interesting statement that it will elicit a response from the other person and engage them. So I think being knowledgeable enough where you can have an opinion on something is what matters. And of course, if you're in the world of concierge, the best place for you to put your knowledge and your experience is into the things that people want, right? Restaurants, you know, the hospitality news, the trends, the updates, watches, travel, all the things that they might ask you for. Invest
Yachts,
your, say again?
the yachts,
Yeah,
the
yachts,
private
exactly.
flights,
Private jets, yeah,
private
private jets,
jets.
exactly. And also as well, if you know something about that individual, you can research what they do as a business. You can get some basic information and understanding. You should do that in almost every situation anyway, because preparation is always valuable. So the first piece is knowledge. The next is the art of communication, the bit that you were kind of touching on. It's being able to feel confident and hold a conversation with that individual, asking questions, being inquisitive, wanting to know more about them. Everyone, doesn't matter whether you're a very successful, you're a quote unquote everyday Joe, everyone is or likes to be the center of attention. Everyone is the main character in their story, right? So make them feel that way. Take interest, ask questions, be inquisitive. You can also amp that up with the emotion that you show through your eyes or through your body language. Certainly if you're in the room with them, you can use subtle touches or lean forward, lean backwards, use a gasp. All of these things make that person feel special. And I don't care whether that person is the most successful individual in the world or just someone that you met on the street. Everyone enjoys, you know, those interactions and feeling good. So bringing that to the table is important. With all of that, being concise as well. You know, you got to read the individual, and most of these individuals, as you said, are time poor. Some of them will love to chat, and if they get into a great conversation, amazing, but you've also got to read the situation, because they can quickly turn off if the conversation leads away or if they have a hard deadline. So you need to get to what the key bits of information and what they want to talk about as quickly and efficiently as possible, while also trying to have some of that engagement and interaction. So that's the way that I built relationships with those individuals, and they are just normal people. Like, I think there's this preconceived thought that high net worth individuals are some sort of like different race and they operate differently. They have the same pains and challenges and worries and concerns as every other person. You know, they just do. And often they're maybe somewhat bigger because they might have 1,000-person company that's struggling and they're worried about, you know, having to let go of 50 people or 100 people or 500 people or whatever it is. So they're under more pressure. And yes, their time is worth more, which is why you need to be considerate of that. When it comes to the point of things going wrong, you need to you need to communicate as effectively and as openly as possible. If something is going wrong or has gone wrong, you need to jump on it, make them aware that you're on it, acknowledge any fault or issue on your side if that's the case. Don't point the finger at them if it's on them. Try and find a resolution, and then after the fact you can address it, because in the heat of the moment it's not going to go well either way, right? People are frustrated, they just want something solved, and more often than not, and I always give this example, in a scenario whereby you've tried to organize a birthday cake for their kid's birthday and the cake hasn't turned up, you know, the middleman has let you down, right, to deliver the cake, but you're the one getting it in the neck. You turning around and going, well, it's not my fault, it's the middleman, that doesn't work. You know, it's a yes, Mr. So-and-so.
100%.
Yeah, Mr. So-and-so, I completely understand. You know, I'll get this rectified straight away. Leave it with me. I'm going to come back to you in 30 minutes. Is that okay? You know, and just be very prompt and very informative with what you're going to do and how you're going to solve it. And I think most people, right? Most people will appreciate that. You will get some people that will be incredibly
100%.
difficult and tough, but clear professional communication and honest communication wins out every time. If you messed up, you put your hands up. I messed up. That was my mistake. I got the times wrong. I sincerely apologize. Would you allow me to rectify it? You know?
That's fantastic, because at the end of the day, providing this type of service there, with so many clients, things are not perfect, and but be honest and be able to communicate effectively, where what the challenge is, and what can you do in order to improve it, in order to solve it. That would be beneficial. So.
Yeah.
Liam, tell us a little bit more about the company that you're working on at the moment, the Poppins. Yeah, what do you guys do? What are you doing there? How can you help people with?
Yeah. So we're a brand marketing, digital and experiential agency. So in short, what we do is we help build brands, transform brands. We do brand strategy all the way through to logos and designs and colors, all of the wonderful things that you would expect with building a brand or designing pieces. We have a full in-house marketing team, so we do big marketing campaigns, social first work, we do out of home, we do digital, we help brands promote their products and services. With those pieces, we also have an incredible in-house development team. We're able to build apps and websites, do technology strategies, do VR and AR animation, all that beautiful stuff you see online, which is incredible. We bring brands to life in the digital world. And then the final part, the experiential, is how does the brand live in the physical? Is it a stand? Is it redesigning your office space? How does the brand that we've built and structured for you come to life in any sort of physical experience? We are 5 years old. We are headquarters in London. We have our development team based in Belfast, and we have offices in Dubai and in New York as well.
Wow. Because in order to build the brand and to the advertising, people are saying that now, like having a website is going to be, every brand we need to have their own metaverse. Every brand we need to have their own VR experience. That at the moment it seems impossible, but in the near future it's gonna be like having a social media account or like having a website. So anything that you guys with VR and AR in terms of branding that makes the difference?
I think, I mean, for a brand perspective, what makes a difference is brand strategy and positioning, because there are many great brands out there. There are many well-designed brands, but the ones that really stand the test of the time and the ones that make an impact are the ones that hit you emotionally, the ones that turn you from a customer to an advocate, to a fan, right, to a loyalist. If I said to you, what's your favorite trainer, and you turn around to me and said Nike, that's great branding. It's not because their shoes are any different. Their shoes are pretty similar, right? They might have some different technology here or there, or different stuff, but largely they make the same shoes as Adidas and Asics and all of these brands. What separates them is the emotion that they've attached to their brand, and prominently how that emotion is connected with you. You relate to that brand for whatever reasons there might be. So that is imperative when it comes to brand is the emotional positioning, strategic side of things. When it comes to digital, I think so many people are still a long way off having good digital experiences, let alone
100%. I agree with you.
like the amount of work that we do on websites where the user experience is poor, the load speed is bad, the journey you take through, the content, and just visually from a UX and UI perspective, it's incredibly subpar. I think that we've still got time for people to elevate their digital game before they're ready to start jumping into
VR
into
and
version VR, and those things at the minute are still. I'm careful to not use the word gimmicky because they will become, we will all be wearing glasses, right, and experiencing things with a digital lens across the real world. That will be happening in the near future. But I certainly think from a general digital perspective, most brands should be focused on just providing great linked up digital experiences. How do you appear on your social channels? How do you appear in video format? How do you appear on your website? Yes, you can add flourishes at events and do cool AR portals, but at the minute those things are a bit gimmicky because it's not all fully linked up, and those AR or VR experiences are still a little bit gamified in some way. It's not like watching a film in terms of richness of reality.
I agree with you, Liam, that there's a lot of work to be done in terms of user experience and user interface and visual identity. How businesses are looking there or presenting themselves as from website, like you said, the speed is not clarity, it's not really clear what they do and what is that emotion connection, and then you go to a social media and everything is a mixed match. I always say it in business with the client: if you confuse them, you lose them. So
Yeah, very good.
about to tie the whole thing 316 in a way that makes sense is it takes a lot of work. However, at the end of the day, when you want to exit your business, you this is what you're selling, your brand. You won't go with your business. So
Yeah.
that brand that you build has to have their own life. That organization need to have their own visual identity, their own regardless. The personal brand can help you a lot to grow your corporate brand. In the end of the day, when you're exiting, that corporate need to have their own brand identity, their whole life apart from yourself. And there is a
Yeah.
lot of challenges what you see out there, where all these things that we're talking about, social media goes in one way, website goes in one way, the communication is all over the place, and it takes a little bit of time, creativity, planning in order to align everything in a 360 view. But when this is happening, the amount of uh, money that you can make is amazing. Actually, you can exit your business. Without that, I think would be very difficult for you to put your business for sale. And it's gonna be very tough. Somebody to buy and build the brand for you. People when they buy a business because they want to grow it, they want to make sure that the brand inside of it is already built
Definitely.
and
And
tied
and you know what's
100%.
yes, I was going to say, Harry, what's fascinating now is that in years gone by, it was hard to quantify the value of brand. There weren't really statistics out there or measures to go, great, the brand is worth X or Y. But actually, if you look at things like the Kantar report and other incredible bodies like that highlight the investment in brand and how brands that have built long-standing legacies, great positionings, good emotional ties, great identities, etc., outperform things like the S&P 500. I mean, they do so dramatically. It's not marginally, it's dramatically. So the value of brand is undeniable. It really is, and
I agree with
investing.
you, Liam, 100%. And here's the thing: when it comes, let's say, for example, for sales and marketing, then you have this type of investment that okay, you put $2 in advertising and you selling your pro £2 in advertising and you sell your product for £10. Then you have a £8 there, then you remove your cost, whatever, and then you have that profit for, let's say. And yes, when you analyze the cost of marketing and sales, invest in these £2 and to get the return of a product selling by 10, and then you have your profit. Um, in that dynamic, the entrepreneurs are thinking, well, if this is working out for me like this, what's the point of me to invest in branding? What's the point of me to spend it in branding? I'm okay. However, you don't realize that exactly the same example that you just that you share with us, Nike. How much is a pair of shoes of Nike? So like we can say £100, £150, could be even more. But in London we have Primark. You can buy a pair of training for £15 or £10. So why would you like to spend 10 times more for something that I would say it's not 10 times better? But anyway, this we can argue
Yeah.
about this. But the whole point is there, and people will come and say, Harry, it's because of the brand. Ah, so now branding is no, you make two, you invest two, and you get four, and this makes sense to you, but branding doesn't make sense because you cannot quantify it. Well, um, basically, you can sell your product for more,
Yeah.
and just by
Yeah.
communicating the value effectively. And again, and we human beings, all of us, we don't buy on price. We don't buy the cheapest thing. The only thing cheap that we buy is well we don't care. If you don't care about shoes, you go to Primark, you buy a pair of training for £15.
Yep.
But shoes are important for you, and you taking them for run, and you're running long distances or whatever. Well, you're not gonna buy the cheapest. And so, look the cars that everybody drive, look the phone that everybody is using. So nobody buys on price when it's important for them. And then is when branding takes is when becomes important, because branding is part of communicating this value effectively. Why the client would justify to pay an extra premium for that product, which is has specific feature and benefits, specific benefit that will communicate directly with the. And then the issue with brand is this one, Liam, that because entrepreneurs don't know how to quantify it at the very beginning, at the very early stage, everybody leave branding for the end. Everybody thinks that branding there is no priority. Let's don't worry about the brand. I don't care about the logo. I don't care about what I represent. I'm just have this product, selling it. And yes, if you go to 0 to 1 million, honestly, because I done it, you can make a million with bad logo, bad name, don't care about branding. Yeah, you can do. However, when you want to scale, however, when you want market penetration, however, if you want to exit your company, now you have to start to work on this. And if you don't start from the beginning, when you span a big mess. And to tidy up this mess in the 360 is something I've been there. It's really expensive. Rebranding, I've been in rebranding processes myself, which has been something extremely expensive and tedious, and took a long time. To now you need to tell all the clients that you have a different name, and what is this, why are you changing, and the whole mess that goes in. When you realize that, oh my god, I grow this business, I'm selling this, and now I have this issue, and I now have to start to fix the whole ecosystem, and it's really painful being there.
Yeah.
So that's I understand the power of branding and the power of organizing this as soon as possible and take it parallel with another business investment that you do, because at the end of the day, maybe it's the thing that nobody cares at the beginning, the 0 to 1 million. But if you want to get out of your business, if you want to sell your product for more, if you want customer appreciation, you do need to be the brand. And it will become from the thing that less priority have for you at the beginning to the thing that only will be your priority when you want to exit, about building that brand. And a lot of pieces goes into this, exactly as you described, from the way that you look in social media, from your user experience for the website. Everything is your brand.
Exactly. It's links, and I agree. I agree with everything that you said, and I agree with your point as well. You can build a wealthy and successful business and not invest that much in branding. I would argue that if you did take the time to invest in branding, you would build an even more wealthy and successful business, because the facts are there, the numbers are there, and the impact of brand in what is a very, very busy, noisy, chaotic world with
100%.
new businesses popping up every minute, every second, and people's attention shorter than it ever has been. You know, the attention span used to be on websites. I think the 7 seconds, they used to say 7 seconds to
Wow.
make an impression on a website.
Wow.
Now it's a fraction of that. You're talking a second, maybe two maximum,
Wow.
where people are landing on your site and they've made an instant decision as to whether they want to. My other half and I often have this where we'll be trying to buy something or search for something, and we'll get to the site and it will be so annoying, we'll just not do it. I immediately refuse. You know, I don't know, maybe booking a train ticket, and I'm like, this is terrible. It's like when it loads, it shrinks the screen, then it expands, and then I can't get down to something. It's all valuable time that brands are
And
wasting.
brand is paying the price because the
Yeah,
user
exactly.
experience, the user interface is part of your branding. People think that this is something different.
Yep.
It's all your brand. It's all
You know,
that customer experience is what your brand represent,
it's
right?
everything, even down to, and I say this because we hadn't done it, but we were working with a luxury brand, a luxury hospitality brand, let's say, and they sent us over an NDA for doing some work together. We were going to do some digital work. They had already built a very good brand, and this is what great branding, and this is the epitome of great branding, is that they sent us over an NDA that was beautifully branded. You know, not just a standard NDA,
Wow, an
rubbish
NDA
sort of
brand.
agreement.
Wow,
Yeah,
that
so it
says
was
a
a
lot about the
branded
company, eh?
yeah, branded NDA, and within it, it weaved the story and told the emotion of the brand in the right way, right? It was a legal document, so it had the legality to it, but it
Wow,
started with a
really
story.
powerful.
Yeah, as to why they're and it stuck with me, right? Like, and I'm telling you this story because it had an impact on me, and that's what great branding is. In every
I
business,
never saw an NDA branding in my whole life.
it was beautiful.
That's how you make
If
a
I can
difference,
find
yeah.
it, I'll send it to you. But you know,
Wow, amazing.
we'll often have the discussion with B2B companies, right? I'm not B2C. I don't need to worry about it. B2B, B2C, it's all P2P, right? People to people. It's you're communicating with individuals, and if you're doing business with another company and you send them a really beautifully considered agreement or an NDA or a phone call, right? Because it's not just about the things that you say, it's things that you send, it's the stuff that you say and how people will interact, how you welcome them into your office. We're doing a big piece of work right now on the customer journey in our office. What do we say to people? What's the stories we tell them? How do we welcome them? How do we offer them a drink?
Everything is brand.
Yeah, it all
Everything.
matters. All
Absolutely.
matters.
Absolutely. Otherwise, incongruency, when that experience that you're projecting, it will be reflected in your price. Yeah. When I always say this, if you telling the price of your product and somebody's asking you for discount, have a look at your branding.
Yeah,
Is the is not a client that doesn't have is somebody is asking you for discount. Have a
yeah.
look. Now you know what you need to work. You do have to work on your brand. You know
There's a brand in the UK that whenever anyone asks me about, you know, what's your favorite brands or stuff like that, there's always one that comes to mind for me, and it's a brand called Son of a Tailor. Now and I'm wearing one of their t-shirts now. They're a fashion company, online fashion company. You put in your measurements and they make you very beautiful t-shirts. They're not cheap. You know, you pay maybe 50 to 60 pound, but I've had this t-shirt for a very long time. I put in my neck measurements, the length of the sleeves, the width of the all that stuff, and you get these beautiful personal bespoke made garments in Portugal. They have built such a beautiful, well delivered brand, great quality products, an incredibly beautiful website, and you hope they do, right? They're digital only, but really considered all of the touch points, and they send out an email every single Black Friday to say why they don't do Black Friday deals. And it's this very well written, very well communicated email from the CEO, basically informing new customers who aren't aware of it why they don't do it. And it is going back to that point, right? It's they have invested in their brand and they have built quality and built trust and delivered a great service. So discounting is only discrediting in their eyes that quality and that service
And that loyalty. Wow.
yeah, exactly. And I respect that more as a customer. I'm more likely to buy
Absolutely,
with that.
absolutely. Because in the end of the day, you're not buying on price. You're buying what the brand represents, or
Exactly.
whatever values they have there into these product services. They are aligned with yours, and you're also. You see, that's the other thing that that I want to stress on the space. Sometimes you see people that talk about branding, teaching about branding, and then they want to buy something that is important for them cheap. I said, what are you talking about? Why is uh, you should reward the companies that making the effort to communicate the value effectively, to present yourself beautifully. Exactly, we be unfair that now after this company is doing all this amazing job, having very clean website, having all this time and work to measure a specific your teacher to your size and to make it done in Portugal, which is not particularly cheap there, because you're not taking it to Bangladesh or to whatever you produce in Europe. And then you see, as a client would be unfair that you now, after all they do this effort to deliver the best product they can to you, and they communicate it clearly to you, the benefit that you ask for discount. Yeah,
Yeah.
and won't be fair with the business. And I think that because this brand is strong, you as a client, you understand that it's all about being fair with that business that's providing the product and service. And I think that consumers, since God, they're becoming very savvy like you, and now they understand all these processes. And that would be, I see a bright future. I see that if consumer keep leading the way, uh, we're gonna have more and more and more beautiful companies out there, creating real benefits for society, and whatever it is, I do cheap stuff, and I'm gonna produce a lot of waste and things like this. Especially in the UK landscape, I think that these type of companies they won't survive that long because of
Yeah.
the mindset and the consumer are getting more savvy. So Liam, thank you so much. This has been amazing.
Pleasure.
And for all of you following the this broadcast, see you in our next episode from Entrepreneurs Are Leaders, how brave entrepreneurs like Liam are doing businesses to make the world a better place. Bye for now.
Follow us for more on charismatic speaking, leadership, exponential business growth, branding, marketing, strategies designed to help you monetize your knowledge, find true happiness, and manifest your goals and dreams.